There are flowers that decorate, and then there's rose, a flower that built empires, inspired poets, and defined the very idea of beauty. We are going to not just smell perfumes, we are going to walk through history, from Persian gardens to Ottoman fields, from French ateliers to the bottles that sit on my vanity, the roses I actually wear. It began more than 3,000 years ago in ancient Persia, where walled gardens were created as reflections of paradise. Roses bloomed alongside jasmine, narcissus, and cypress, each symbolizing eternity. The Persians were among the first to distill rosewater, or gol-ab. The word atar, from the Arabic itr, meaning essence, would later travel west through poetry and trade. Through Silk Road routes and Arab scholarship, the damask rose migrated across continents. By the 9th century, philosopher Al-Kindi was writing recipes for rose bombs. By the 11th, Avicenna of Bukhara perfected steam distillation, vapor rising through petals condensed into liquid, the same process used by perfumers today. When the Ottoman Empire rose in the 14th century, it made the rose imperial. Rose water was poured into silver basins to welcome guests, sprinkled in mosques, and burned in censers during prayer. The Prophet Muhammad was said to have smelled of roses, and the flower became a symbol of divine love. By the 18th century, Ottoman traders carried rose cuttings into the Balkans. And in Kazanlak, Bulgaria, those cuttings created the Rose Valley, a region still known for the world's most prized rose oil. Later in the 19th century, roses bloomed again in Isparta, Turkey, where harvesters still rise before dawn to gather petals heavy with dew. From there, the rose reached Grasse, where French perfumers refined Ottoman atars into the absolutes that define modern perfumery. A flower born in Persia, sanctified in Islam, and perfected in France, the rose became a bridge between empires, religions, and time. Roses appear in every perfume wardrobe, but few deserve to stay. These 10 capture everything a rose can be when it isn't forced to be pretty or polite. Chloé Nomade. Chloé was founded in 1952 by Gabi Aguillon, an Egyptian-born Parisian who believed luxury should move, not just stand still. Perfumer Quentin Biche translated that freedom into scent. It opens with mirabelle, bergamot, and lemon, kissed by orange blossom before drifting into a heart of freesia, peach, jasmine, and rose. The base of oak moss, patchouli, amberwood, and white musk anchors it in quiet confidence. Nomade is one of my favorite perfumes. Honestly, if I had to pick one scent to live in, it would be this. It smells like sun through linen, like independence bottled. It's effortless, radiant, and endlessly wearable. One of the best signature perfumes anybody could own. Hermès Kelly Caleche. Hermès began in 1837 as a saddlery workshop, and that craftsmanship still lives inside this bottle. When Jean-Claude Elena created Kelly Caleche, he imagined the touch of leather softened by petals. It opens with grapefruit, narcissus, and lily of the valley, unfolds into rose, mimosa, and tuberose, and dries into iris and fine leather. It's refined and intelligent, the rose of composure and quiet power. Every time I wear it, I'm reminded that elegance doesn't need to prove itself. Parfums de Marly Delina. Parfums de Marly is often called a niche house, but in truth, it's what I call nouveau niche brand. Luxury marketing dressed in powder wigs and horse imagery. It's a modern success story built not on craftsmanship, but on seduction through marketing. Still, Delina by Quentin Biche deserves credit for changing how the modern world smells rose. It opens with rhubarb, lychee, and bergamot, giving a bright, juicy sharpness that instantly cuts through the air. The heart is Turkish rose and peony, rich yet airy, polished by cashmere and soft buds in the base. The overall impression's clean, pink, and persistent, a rose with gloss and volume like silk under light. It's both romantic and synthetic, deliberately designed for projection and recognition. Delina started a movement. It made rose mainstream again, not nostalgic or old-fashioned, but hyper-modern and extroverted. Whether you love it or not, its influence is everywhere in countless pink bottles, fruit-saturated florals, and feminine launches that followed it. It may not be niche in spirit, but it's a turning point, the moment rose re-entered the conversation. Perris Monte Carlo, Rose de Taif. Perris Monte Carlo is a family-owned house in Monaco. It's devoted to purity and raw materials. Perfumer Luca Maffei captured the rare Taif rose grown high in Saudi Arabia's Hejaz Mountains. It opens with lemon, nutmeg, and geranium, then moves into a heart of Taif rose, drying to damask rose and soft musk. I fell in love with this scent in Cannes when I visited their boutique this summer. It's transparent yet emotional, a spiritual rose that feels like light through glass. It is probably the most photorealistic rose you will ever own in your life. Atelier Rebul Amourose. Atelier Rebul began in 1895 when Jean-César Rebul, a French pharmacist, opened his pharmacy on Istanbul's Rue de Perra. When he left, his apprentice Kemal Müderrisoğlu took over. Today, Kerim Müderrisoğlu and Nükhet Filiba lead the brand, still family-owned, now expanding globally. Amourose opens with mandarin and nutmeg, melts into rose, raspberry, red wine, lychee, saffron, and pepper, and finishes on rum, sandalwood, musk, vanilla, amber, and patchouli. It's not a groundbreaking fragrance, but it's very likable. I own several from this brand. They don't shout, but they always make sense. Amourose feels like comfort, a love letter written in wine and spice. Jo Malone Velvet Rose and Oud. When Jo Malone London, now under Estee Lauder, launched Velvet Rose and Oud, it shocked me. I was not expecting this DNA. This was dark, sensual, even a little dangerous. Perfumer Fabrice Pellegrin wrapped damask rose in oud, clove, and praline. It's candlelight on skin, satin and shadows, and for once, Jo Malone allowed itself to feel seductive, not just clean. I remember thinking, finally, something with weight. Manos Gerakinis Rose Poétique. In Athens, Manos Gerakinis runs one of Greece's few independent perfume houses, producing everything in Greece. For Rose Poétique, he partnered with Jean-François Tison, a French perfumer known for his precision and balance. It opens with saffron, rhubarb, and raspberry, flows into damask rose, labdanum, and vanilla, and rests on patchouli, cashmere wood, sandalwood, and musk. This was a gift from Manos himself, and it feels deeply personal. It's a rose that's both poetic and grounded, mature, sensual, and quietly self-assured. Granado Rosa Sublime. Founded in 1870, Granado Farmacias is Brazil's oldest perfumery, still manufacturing in Rio de Janeiro. For its 155th anniversary, the brand worked with Quentin Biche to come up with 3 different perfumes. This is one of them, and this one reimagined rose for the tropics. It opens with cassis, nutmeg, and davana, blooms into rose, geranium, and jasmine, and settles into saffron, amber, and sandalwood. I found this one all on my own with my research. It's not hyped up on social media yet, but Granado is expanding fast. I expect to see their stores everywhere soon. Rosa Sublime is sunshine and satin, modern elegance, but with rhythm. Matière Première Radical Rose. Perfumer Aurélien Guichard founded Matière Première on the idea that mastery begins with materials. The brand's marketing highlights roses grown on his family's fields, though he also works closely with Taga Sago, which likely supports part of the production. Radical Rose opens with saffron and pepper berries, blooms into Rose Centrifolia Absolute, and rests on patchouli and labdanum. It's clean, magnetic, impeccably made, but also available everywhere now. I include it because it represents how quickly a perfumer-led vision can shift from artisanal to global scale. Trance by J.F. Schwarzlose. Founded in Berlin in 1856, J.F. Schwarzlose perfumed emperors and cabaret stars before vanishing during the wars. Its revival under Lutz Hermann and Veronique Nyberg brought back their theatrical, intellectual Berlin spirit. Trance builds around Turkish rose oil and rose absolute, deepened by absinthe and cistus absolute. It is hypnotic, smoky, elegant, the rose of resurrection. To me, it smells like Berlin after midnight, culture, decadence, and quiet confidence. The story of Rose is the story of resilience. It has crossed empires, languages, and formulas, always adapting, never fading. Every Rose perfume carries a piece of that journey. Some are quiet and contemplative, others are bold and luminous, but each one reminds us that scent is culture, and culture is memory. If you've made it this far, tell me, which rose speaks to you? Do you prefer the clean, modern styles or the deep, resinous classics? And if you've ever said you don't like rose, maybe it's time to start over. Sample one, wear it for a day, and see what happens. Because rose, more than any other flower, finds its meaning on skin. I'm Hulya Aksu. Thank you for watching and spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear which rose perfume speaks to you most. See you in the next chapter. Take care.